Meghan wouldn't be known for anything if she hadn't actually married Harry and been in the royal family.
Fairy tales aren't supposed to have backup plans. True love stories don't come with a plan B. Yet now, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's entire romance is being shaken by claims that Harry may never have been Meghan's first choice at all. Royal biographer Angela Levin has dropped a bombshell. Meghan's early attention wasn't directed toward Harry, but William. If true, this revelation could flip the entire Sussex story on its head, leaving Harry looking less like the chosen one and more like the backup plan.
Meghan, can you tell me what it's like becoming a new mum and tell us a little bit about baby Sussex, as we're calling him?
It's magic. It's pretty amazing. And I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
Angela Levin isn't just another commentator throwing opinions into the royal rumor mill. She's a seasoned biographer with decades of palace connections, and when she speaks, people listen. Her latest claim has caused shockwaves. Meghan Markle, in her earliest days around the royals, wasn't actually focused on Prince Harry. Instead, Levin says multiple aides and insiders insist Meghan's attention was subtly directed toward Prince William. This isn't about romance, Levin stresses, but strategy. William, as the heir, represented proximity to the heart of the monarchy. According to reports, Meghan allegedly maneuvered in ways that placed her closer to him at public events. Small gestures, where she stood, how she moved after handshakes, even her glances were interpreted by staff as carefully calculated positioning. These details might have seemed harmless at the time, but when stitched together now, they paint a very different picture of Meghan's intentions. The idea that Meghan's royal entry point may not have been Harry but William flips the entire Sussex fairy tale upside down. The world was sold a story of fate, a romance that conquered tradition and won against the odds. But if Harry wasn't her first focus, what does that say about the authenticity of their love story? Was Harry the man she truly fell for, or the one she settled on when doors elsewhere didn't open? Angela Levin's words cut deeper because they come from someone long trusted in royal reporting. And perhaps more damaging than the claim itself is Meghan's silence. Normally quick to correct the record, her lack of denial here has allowed the story to gain momentum, and perception once formed is hard to undo. From the outside, the icy relationship between Meghan and Kate has often been described as a cultural clash, two women from very different backgrounds failing to connect. But Angela Levin's claims cast that tension in a much sharper light. According to palace staffers, Kate wasn't simply being cold or unfriendly. She was reacting to something she saw early on. At charity events and official outings, observers noticed Meghan's subtle attempts to move closer to William. She shook hands with guests, then positioned herself directly beside him, almost mirroring Kate's usual spot. On one occasion, Meghan even mimicked Kate's posture at William's side, a move that insiders later described as deliberate. Harry, reportedly aware of the optics, was seen placing his hand gently on Meghan's back, as if guiding her away and reminding her to stay focused. For Kate, this wasn't harmless body language, it was a warning sign. Sources suggest she picked up quickly on Meghan's strategic behavior and took steps to protect her territory. What later became headlines about a cold sister-in-law or royal frostiness may have been, in reality, Kate drawing firm boundaries. Critics say this explains the long-standing friction between the two duchesses. Meghan, in her view, was pushing too close to William, and Kate instinctively defended her role as his partner. This paints their relationship in a new light. Not personal dislike, but protective instincts. And here's where the story gains even more weight. The supposed frostiness wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a reaction to ambition. If Kate felt Meghan was positioning herself strategically near William, then her guardedness makes perfect sense. Far from being standoffish without cause, she was simply guarding the future king. This interpretation reframes years of speculation about why Kate and Meghan never got along. Instead of cultural differences or media exaggeration, it may have been about one thing. Kate saw through Meghan from the start.
Meghan wouldn't be known for anything if she hadn't actually married Harry and been in the royal family.
From the moment Meghan Markle stepped into the royal spotlight, her public image was carefully framed around authenticity. The fairy tale love story, the outsider breaking barriers, the couple who dared to choose love over duty, all of it was designed to resonate with a global audience hungry for modern royalty. Netflix specials, Oprah interviews, podcasts, and multi-million-dollar speaking engagements all leaned on the same theme: Meghan and Harry as the embodiment of destiny. But Angela Levin's claims strike at the heart of that narrative. If Harry was never Meghan's first choice, if her early moves were strategic rather than romantic, then the entire foundation of her brand starts to wobble. The love story that audiences were sold begins to look less like destiny and more like a carefully managed PR campaign. Perception matters in celebrity culture. People don't need concrete proof to feel betrayed, they just need doubt. Suddenly, Meghan's heartfelt interviews risk being seen as performances. Her memoir-style revelations read more like strategy than sincerity. And once that seed of doubt is planted, it spreads quickly across social media, where every old clip and photograph gets reinterpreted as evidence. For Meghan, this isn't just about gossip, it's about credibility. Authenticity is her currency, and without it, her public image risks collapse. And for Harry, the implication is even worse. If he wasn't her first choice, then everything he gave up, his royal life, his family ties, his status, looks less like a bold stand for love and more like the consequence of being someone else's backup plan.
Meghan, can you tell me what it's like becoming a new mum and tell us a little bit about baby Sussex, as we're calling it?
It's magic. It's pretty amazing, and I have the two best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
When Angela Levin's comments hit the headlines, it didn't take long for the story to explode online. Within hours, TikTok creators and Twitter users were digging through years of royal footage, replaying Meghan's earliest moments with William frame by frame. What once looked like harmless gestures, a handshake, a glance, or standing slightly too close, suddenly took on a new meaning. One viral TikTok stitched together moments of Meghan leaning toward William at charity events, with captions reading, "She knew all along." On Twitter, fans circulated slowed-down clips of Meghan shifting her position to stand beside him, often comparing her placement with Kate's. What once seemed like innocent body language was now presented as calculated. The reaction wasn't just from critics. Even sympathetic voices admitted the optics weren't good. For a woman who built her brand on authenticity, these images raised uncomfortable questions. Was Meghan simply being warm and engaging? Or was she positioning herself deliberately in William's orbit? The speed and intensity of the online reaction proved how fragile public perception can be. In the digital age, no detail stays buried. Every photo, every video clip becomes potential evidence in the court of public opinion. And once the internet decides a narrative fits, it spreads like wildfire. For Meghan and Harry, the viral storm meant one thing. The story had grown far beyond Angela Levin's original claim. It wasn't just a biography snippet anymore. It had become a global conversation, fueled by memes, hashtags, and millions of replays. And in the world of celebrity branding, perception is everything. While the headlines center on Meghan, the person most affected by Angela Levin's claims may actually be Harry. For years, he has positioned himself as the prince who chose love over duty, who walked away from the rigid traditions of the monarchy to build a new life with his wife. His brand is built on authenticity, openness, and emotional honesty. But the suggestion that he wasn't Meghan's first choice undercuts all of that. The narrative is brutal. If Meghan originally had her sights on William, then Harry looks less like the bold romantic hero and more like the convenient spare. Online commentators have already seized on that phrase, turning it into a trending insult that frames him as secondary, not just in the royal family, but in his own marriage. For Harry, this perception is dangerous. His credibility has already taken hits from criticism over his memoir, interviews, and ongoing rifts with his family. Now, the idea that he might have been manipulated or overlooked casts him as weak rather than principled. To his supporters, He's a man who sacrificed everything for love. To his critics, he's starting to look like someone who gave up his world for a woman who never truly prioritized him. That's the sting of Levin's claim. It doesn't just question Meghan's authenticity, it questions Harry's judgment. And in the court of public opinion, that can be devastating. Because once people start doubting the foundation of their relationship, every decision Harry has made since leaving the royal family looks less like conviction and more like fallout. For Meghan and Harry, the fallout from Angela Levin's claims isn't limited to gossip columns or royal watchers' debates. At its core, the Sussex brand is a business, one worth hundreds of millions. Every speaking engagement, every streaming deal, every book contract has been built on a single foundation: the love story that captured the world's imagination. Their Netflix series, their Spotify podcasts, Harry's memoir, and Meghan's speaking circuit appearances all sell the same narrative: that they are a couple who stood against tradition, chose each other, and built a modern fairy tale. Corporations and media platforms bought into that story because it was bankable. But if audiences begin to doubt the authenticity of their romance, those deals start to look fragile. Industry insiders have already speculated that corporations may shy away from a brand associated with scandal fatigue. A royal commentator on GB News suggested bluntly, "Companies don't pay millions for drama fatigue. If the William claims gain traction, Hollywood agents and corporate sponsors will be watching closely." Public opinion can shift overnight, and no company wants to be tied to a story that the audience sees as false or manipulative. The financial stakes are enormous. Harry and Meghan's reported a $100 million deal with Netflix, Meghan's speaking fees that run into six figures, and book contracts worth millions are all dependent on their image. Their audience doesn't just buy into their words, they buy into the couple as a symbol of love, resilience, and authenticity. Remove that belief, and what remains is just controversy. Worse still, the silence from Meghan's camp risks amplifying the damage. Normally, denials or legal threats arrive quickly. This time, nothing. And in an age when silence is often read as admission, the lack of pushback is fueling speculation further. For corporations, silence is unsettling. It leaves too much room for risk. In short, this isn't just a PR crisis. It's a financial one. The longer the second choice narrative lingers, the more their empire of brand deals, contracts, and endorsements stands on shaky ground. Perhaps the most powerful response to Angela Levin's claims hasn't come from Meghan or Harry, but from the palace itself. Or rather, the lack of response. Buckingham Palace has maintained total silence, refusing to confirm, deny, or even acknowledge the rumors. This isn't passivity. It's strategy. By saying nothing, the crown allows perception to take root on its own, with no need to get its hands dirty. Royal watchers point out that this silence stands in sharp contrast to Meghan and Harry's approach, which has often involved interviews, memoirs, and media appearances. The monarchy's restraint now looks like strength, while the Sussex's silence appears defensive, even suspicious. For many, that's the real danger. Silence can either project dignity or suggest guilt, and right now, Meghan and Harry risk the latter. Culturally, the story has become bigger than just one couple. It plays into a growing fatigue with celebrity PR. The polished narratives, the glossy interviews, the carefully packaged authenticity that audiences are beginning to mistrust. Meghan and Harry's struggles could easily become the cautionary tale of how overexposure and over-strategizing destroy credibility. And then there's Harry. If Meghan really did see William first, then Harry looks not like the prince who defied tradition for love, but the man who was never truly first choice. For a figure who built his brand on being relatable, authentic, and emotionally open, that's devastating. The Sussex fairy tale was built on the idea of love conquering all. But if perception shifts, if the world decides it was really just a plan B, then the entire foundation cracks. In that silence, one question lingers. Was Harry ever the chosen one, or just the backup who became the headline act?